New Age spirituality. That was my life. I was associating with it. I lived in New Age. It was everything for me. I loved crystals, I loved tarot cards, I loved mediumship and psychic development training and channeling. And I didn't think I would be practicing Muslim, but Allah knows best. And it seems like it was the right time for me to come back on this path of truth. And I'm not saying that's your path right now. Maybe not. Who knows? It wasn't for me for many years, but now it is. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you know my content from before. So my name is Elmira Strange. I am a psychologist and creator of online courses on psychology, spirituality, and so on. For the last 10 years, I've been working on Udemy. If any of you from there or like courses on Udemy, you can check it out. Otherwise, go to my website, elmirastrange.com, to find more courses on psychology. So that's aside. Let's get on with the actual video. So about a year ago, I came back to Islam. Why I came back? Because my roots originally are from Islamic traditions, because I am by nationality, I am from Tatarstan. Even though I was born in Kazakhstan, but actual nationality, my grandparents, they are mainly from Tatarstan. Anyway, so most people who are Tatar or Kazakh, they are Muslims by birth. But like I was saying in my other videos, they don't really know much about Islam. It seems like we are Muslims by name when we're born, but nobody from the Soviet Union or from that era, which was before the communism, the Soviet Union, and so on, where the religion was forbidden to practice, any religion, or any esoteric stuff, or magic, spiritual stuff, and so on. You couldn't find books, you couldn't preach about it, you couldn't find teachers, classes, or anything like that when I was growing up, during my teenage years, for example. So I wasn't exposed to that, and nobody in my family practices Islam. The only thing is, like I say by name, what we knew about Islam then. Like, I can talk from my personal experience, and probably on behalf of my parents. What we knew is that there are some prayers in Islam that might be helpful with clearing space, especially if you're moving to another house. So what we would do, we would probably ask in a masjid and mosque, a person who works there, imam or mullah in Russian, to come to our house to make some blessings, basically, for the new house. And we would give him a little bit of money, just like a charity, kind of as a thank you. And so that's pretty much it when it comes to prayers. We didn't really know that practicing Muslim, for example, they have to pray every day. They should know some prayers in Arabic. We didn't know that. So what we also did know that there are certain things that we shouldn't eat, consume, or drink, especially alcohol, that it's pretty strict in Islam. We didn't know. So in Soviet Union, everybody behaved like pretty much the main population of anywhere in Europe. Everybody's doing what they want, they feel freedom, and they feel like they can do whatever they want. So this is what I mean. Muslim by name, but what actually was behind it, not much, I can tell you. What else I knew about Islam then? Well, some people seem to learn some prayers, and some people seem cover their head or their hair, some women, but not in our countries, it's somewhere else, somewhere like in the Far East. And also I had the notion of that some people become very religious and then they become kind of very different from the majority of the society. So it's probably not good if you're going to that extreme route, like they would say in America. To be honest, many people still feel like that, including those who are born as Muslims. And again, Muslims are put in quotes because really there is not much knowledge there. So this is why when I came back after doing shamanic ceremonies, after trading this path of spirituality for years and years and years, since my teenage years, whatever I could find, I would learn. Like I was saying in my other videos about channeling and mediumship and about ghosts and about apparitions and the voice phenomena and things like that. I was very interested in paranormal phenomena because I was exposed to it and I was very sensitive to it. I could feel it, I could see it, not see it as another person right now, but more like in between the states, the dream states and things like that, or during even meditations later on in life, during visions, for example, during shamanic ceremonies and things like that. What I didn't know before I came back to Islam, before I actually started practicing and learning about it. First of all, I didn't know that I will be exposed to so many Arabic words and phrases. But the thing is, it actually made me fall in love with the language, because that's the language that our holy book of Quran was written in, Arabic language. So you're exposed to it once you start learning about Islam, and there is not much you can do to avoid it, really. You can read translations in English, Russian, or your own language, but it's still kind of limited because it's an interpretation, it's the translation that you want to get as accurate as possible. Saying that, I would say there is no pressure on you to learn Arabic. There is no pressure. There are a lot of translations up to this moment. So you can read a lot of books that explain every little sentence in the Holy Book, for example, and interpret it from different points depending on the translation. So to cut story short, you don't need to learn it. However, I feel like I was falling in love with the language, with the way it pronounced it, the way it sounds, the way some phrases just almost sound like to my heart, especially when it comes to Islam. So another thing which I didn't expect, that the transition itself from, for example, living a new age to all the way to being practicing Muslim, that it takes not a day, not a week, not even a month. It actually can take months and months, like a year or longer. And I remember I was talking to one of my friends, and she said to me, even though she knows a lot about Islam, she was born as a Muslim like me, but she never practices it. And she lives in new age reality, spirituality, like I was for many years. She said that one day, if she will come to Islam and start practicing it, she will literally do it overnight. She will cover the next day. She will start doing 5 days, 5 prayers a day. She will start eating only halal, and she will give up all the haram stuff, which is forbidden stuff. So she will follow all the rules that are prescribed in Islam. And I can tell you that for 99.9% of people, that's not going to happen. The change cannot happen overnight unless you are that rare individual who can do all or nothing approach, black or white, and then tomorrow you're doing everything as prescribed in Islam. But the thing is, there is so much to learn in Islam. And even the fact that wearing hijab, it changes your appearance, that takes some time, and I mean months, to actually get used to, that you look different in the mirror, you look different in society. And at first, you might struggle a lot with that because you're not sure if it actually even suits you. You're not sure because there are some ways of finding what suits your shape of your face, your skin tone. And just like with any other clothes, with any other fashion, you would have to try different pieces to find what actually suits you, where you feel the most comfortable, what is most flattering to you. And that's important because in the end of the day, we are women. Whether you like it or not, we do want to look nice. Even if it's modest, even if you are a religious person, it doesn't matter. You still want to look nice. So I'll leave it at that. And also, of course, the transition takes, depending on how many bad habits, let's say, you had before. If you like to go out with your friends to drink alcohol, for example, that can take some time, or it could be overnight for you, just to stop all these bad habits that shouldn't be really if you are practicing Muslim. Saying that, I would say don't wait when you'll get perfect before you accept Islam, if that's what you're thinking about it. Islam isn't about waiting for people to become perfect before they start practicing and start learning about it. It's actually refining yourself in a process, and that process can take all your life. So even if you're doing and having certain bad habits, which you think you shouldn't be doing if you're thinking about practicing as a Muslim, then don't let them stop you. You can work on that during the process, during your learning about the religion, if that's your path. What else I didn't know? I didn't know that there is so much knowledge in Islam. There are so many books. I was thinking literally, you learn how to pray, you learn how to cover, and maybe a little bit more. So the knowledge that can be covered in a day, maybe 3-day seminar. Well, the reality is there is so much. There is history, there are prophets, their life, their behavior. There is interpretation of the book, of course. There are various spiritual rituals, you can say, from prayers to fasting. There are different holidays and celebrations that are in the Muslim world. There are various sayings, and for example, even take a prayer. There are so many types of prayers that can be used for protection, for protection from other people, from the envy, from genies, which is demonic stuff, which can be around. And if you've heard my previous videos, I was exposed to that. So the prayer can be so powerful, it literally protects you day and night. And then, of course, there are prayers for traveling, so nothing would happen to you. And there are prayers if you really want to ask for something to help you with making decision, for example. So even just take the aspect of prayers, there is so much to learn that it cannot be covered in one day. But it's all really cool because I love learning, and my interest is always about gaining knowledge and, of course, seeking the truth and spirituality and psychology. Well, Islam covers that all. It's like the whole Islamic world with its own psychology. And I'm, as a psychologist, of course, I was fascinated with finding Islamic psychology. I didn't even know it exists. Islamic psychology is so ancient and so cool and so holistic. It looks at a person not only through that lens of the Western psychology, where we treat mental health disorders by addressing your thoughts and changing them, or giving you antidepressants. No, there is so much more. There is the way of looking at the person, what they do, what they eat, how they wear, what colors they wear, how they feel, what their beliefs are, and so much more before you actually get to the root of mental health disorder or issue they might be facing. But that would be my other videos on Islamic psychology, because, as I said, I am so interested in it and I find it fascinating. The stuff that you would think we should know, but we don't. So I hope on my channel I will share with you certain interesting things about Islamic psychology that you would be amazed as I am. So, of course, as a practicing Muslim, you're exposed to discipline because there are 5 prayers a day, which structure your day in a very nice periods of the day where you can plan stuff, what you're gonna do in the morning, in the evening, and so on. But also, it kind of breaks down your day into those chunks where you can take a breath, focus inward, focus on your devotion, and focus on yourself. You can extend every prayer by a few minutes just by being mindful, meditation-like. So when you start the next chunk of the day, you actually feel more ready and more recharged. What else I didn't expect, that not only you get used to wearing more modest clothing, but also you start liking it so much that when you look at all the photos of yourself and videos, and really the whole world of semi-nakedness, you can say, you really start having different thoughts about how much we expose ourselves, our bodies as women in society, how much we kind of selling ourselves. And I don't mean literally, I mean in a way that, please look at me and listen to me if I look open, sexy, and so on. Instead, when you are wearing modest clothes, you are telling the world, listen to what I've got to say. Don't get distracted by my body. Because let's face it, of course we are all looking nice as females, and of course we can expose as much as we can to get attention. But is it that type of attention that you really want? Isn't it more important that people listen to what you've got to say because you've got your intellect, because you've got your brains, rather than just beautiful bits of the body? So I started looking at the modest clothing in a very different way. And of course, hijab, the covering, is something that you start falling in love with when you feel the strength of and the protection of that piece of clothing on you. It's really interesting. It's like, it gives you boundaries between you and the society, and that you kind of ask the society to look at you in a more respectful way. Yes, because you are a spiritual person and because you've got something else to say. And again, like I said, you don't have to display the physical beauty of your body in order to gain attention of people that you're talking to. I hope I'm making it clear. I know it's a very sensitive topic for anyone. And I hope you really understand what I'm trying to say here without scolding anyone, without trying to hurt anyone, because I've been in that world where I loved bikinis and shorts like everybody else. But now I feel there is a sense of looking different at the way when we dress more modest and when we gain attention by different ways. Saying that, once you start wearing hijab, if that's what you are thinking about, you also will see that you start belonging to Ummah, or the society of Muslims, where you are recognized by other women and men that you are in Islam. So it's quite interesting because women greet each other even though they're from different countries and they don't know each other, just because they are recognizing themselves as Muslim women who have very strong beliefs and values. And that's beautiful. That's something that unites millions of people now. It's incredible feeling once you start feeling when you're a part of that. I could also see that prayers are more powerful than I ever thought before. Again, as I said, I was very sensitive to nightmares, to different beings or entities in my house, and not just in my house. And the prayers, I see how powerful they are. They literally protect me and the house. But again, this is a different topic because there is so much to cover when it comes to prayers anyway. I also didn't expect that New Age doesn't really give you so many answers like I was hoping for. But that's what I'm talking about. New Age spirituality. That was my life. I was associating with it. I lived in New Age. It was everything for me. I loved crystals. I loved tarot cards. I loved mediumship and psychic development training and channeling and catching orbs and voices on my devices and things like that. And I was thinking I am getting somewhere with the truth, what it's all about. But only when I came to Islam, I actually start finding the truth from those ancient books. And don't think that when you're coming to Islam, you focus only on that. No, you become interested in other religions as well, because of course you're doing comparison in your own head, and not only in your own head. You're watching different videos to see who's saying what, who's coming from which point, and comparing and seeing what works for you. Where is your truth? So by doing that and during that process, first of all, you're learning so much about history that you've never thought that you would learn. And secondly, it's kind of refining your character even more, because religions, they teach you values, the values of life, family, relationships, friendships, and so on. So you become more respectful, kinder, appreciative, and so on, because you are constantly working on your character, on your personality. And that's a beautiful thing as well. If all humans would do that, this world would be a much better place for everyone. Another thing, probably what I didn't expect, that there will be some friends who would depart from your life, and you never thought that would happen. You never could foresee that some people who are supporting you right now, they actually can walk away from you just because you changed, whether it's by appearance or because you're following religion, which to me it's really puzzling, because if you're following certain spiritual belief and strong religious beliefs or whatever, religious views, in the end of the day, it teaches you to be a good person, really. So why some people become so frightened by that to the point where they walk away from you? I still don't understand that. Apart from, obviously, Islamophobia, this is a different topic where people, because of their political views, historical views, or whatever, they just don't like because they don't understand. They don't know enough what religions teach, what religions are about. Just like I was many years ago, where I didn't understand it either. And I didn't think I would be practicing Muslim. But Allah knows best. And it seems like it was the right time for me to come back on this path of truth. And I'm not saying that's your path right now. Maybe not. Who knows? It wasn't for me for many years, but now it is. So I guess that's pretty much it. And maybe it helps you to come to some conclusions about your own path and where you are heading to. Have a look at my other videos. I am planning to make more videos explaining the significance of, for example, hijab and Islamic psychology and how it came to our world and how we can use this to our benefit in the management of emotions, for example, day to day, and so much more. And if you'd like to share your story in the comments below, I'll be happy to read it. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in my next video.